Hello again, Armored Trooper VOTOMS collectors. Today we have a 148 scale again. This is called Purple Bear ATM-09-SSC. Since I don't really watch the TV show, I know nothing about it. So I always go to this website over here, mehq.net. And they have all the information. Let's see what's going on with this guy. It's a mid-class Armored Trooper. Manufacturer, whatever. It weighs around 6 tons. That's the lightest VOTOMS I have, I guess. Granted, it's a fictional world, so that's the lightest one. I like to read this one. Other variants of the Scope Dog, specially customized in battling arena combat games. Henceforth, probably its lightness. It has to be maneuverable. Okay, yeah, just one arm punch. There's no guns or anything like that. So they must have had some sort of like war fighting robots, like robot boxing. What was that movie with Hugh Jackman? Real Steel, that kind of thing. Only there's actually people inside of him. Alright, this is also new to me. Up here it says AG-N02. I think I'm used to seeing AGV something in the series. So this is the second one of AG-N series, and it says next. 148 scale, nice window thing. Really tiny font here. Let's see if I can read any of that. Human type legged weapon, VOTOMS, blah blah. Vertical one-man tank for office and maneuver. That's what that acronym stands for. Fellers at the bottom. I don't know what that means. Some painted details in the leg after you remove some armor bits. Just some nothing there, nothing there. Legal jargon here, but there's never a date. Although I can see stamped in here it says 2607. So maybe this is the 26th week of 2007. On the instructions inside it will say, and there's always a sunrise sticker. I think that might be the company that owns the cartoon series, but I could be wrong. Please leave a comment. Some statistics I think in Japanese of what this thing is in the fictional world, and then we got some nice pretty promo pics here. Yeah, nice detail pics after some plates are removed. Cool little stance. Whoa, I think this pilot's painted. This might be the first for that. Usually they're just the raw plastic, so it can crouch down. This has been opened, so I'm hoping all the pieces are there. It's not brand new. Okay. Oh boy, there's a whole lot of parts in here that I'm gonna have to clip off. Cardboard with a grid. So toss that. Oh boy. Wow, this guy really is detailed. I can now understand why it says next. So let's just try to... throw this packaging away anyways. I don't have room for it in my luggage when I go back to Asia. Alright, so I'm gonna have to probably figure all this out here. Or maybe, you know, let's do it real time. You guys can watch here. It's kind of a model kit, but before that we get to see some nice details here. Oh, what's going on? This is metal. This foot is cold and it's heavy. So that's why it's next. All the other VOTOMs I have are plastic, except for the screws that might hold it together. But these feet, and I think this little leg mechanism, inner leg is metal as well. So definitely getting up there in quality compared to the other ones I have. Alright, so the foot does have these spikes that come down. Yeah, so that works. On the bottom there seems to be wheels. But they kind of recessed. They're sticking out, right? But then they pop back in. So I don't know why. Well, I guess it has to stand, right? It wouldn't stand if they were sticking out, but it'll stand pretty level, right? So that's a good design choice. Oh, interesting. Look at this foot. So the foot, this thing swings up and down just a tiny bit. An armor plate goes into those holes there. There's a screw holding the lower leg together. And yeah, you got these painted details, which armor's going to cover up. So in fact, so this must be one of them. You'll see there's a larger hole and a smaller hole, so it makes it more idiot-proof. Oh, and this is even larger than that, so this is super idiot-proof because this is the largest one here. So this must go right here. Let's see how good the fit is. Must be friction fit. Yeah, it's very tight. So I gotta say, all these VOTOMs I've gotten, they have really tight panel fit, like friction fit, no glue. Is very similar to what Bandai does, you know, with their Gundams. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're paying Bandai to make these, because the tolerances of these pegs and stuff are really tight. That's gonna be hard to remove. It was so tight. But I don't really need to see those details anyways. It's nice to see it once, but I don't need to see them again. If I want to see them again, I'll just look at this video, I guess, and try to pry these off. These covers are plastic, so you know, you'd have to probably put a gouge into them to get these off because this fit is so tight. Alright, so yeah, you can even hear how tight that was. Alright, so those are on now. Ah, boy. So I'm just kind of guessing, but I have a suspicion these go in the front on those little... Well, let's look at the articulation more. I see a ball down there. Okay, so yeah. The ball allows it to get some angling in almost any direction. But then it's also a hinge going into that leg there. So, alright. One nice thing is, since all these parts are already off, like they're not on the sprue, I don't see any strange plastic flash leftovers, you know, from the molding process. They're all cleaned up. In fact, I'm not yeah, there's a tiny bit there, but you would never see it. So, okay, so that's on now. And there must have been another one. I see. So there it is. So small, sorry. See, that's a tiny little flashing from where it came off the molding sprue, or the tree. Oh, well, that's interesting. I guess it makes putting this on easier. It's really hard to put this thing on. Okay. So what keeps this thing in place? Oh, so there's a hole and just tiny bumps there. So, all right. So that just snaps back in. I'm now seeing two holes here, so something must go in there. I don't know what, right off the top of my head, so I'm not going to bother. Alright, so the arm articulation, you have a bicep, you know, rotator, and then it's a double hinged elbow, it looks like. Or does it? Definitely down here. I don't know about the top one, though. Yep, it is a double jointed elbow. So that's really good. Can get more than 90 degrees in the bend. I think this might be a punch mechanism, so you pull this outwards. Yep, tiny little punch. Slide in, slide out. So the hand is a ball peg as well, and this cutout allows you to move, well, hold on, move the wrist like 90 degrees. Oh, that's really tight. I gotta let that ball loosen up. Well, I'm not gonna push it right now. Maybe on this side. Yeah, see, so you can actually get a really big bend in the hand there. Alright, two screws holding the back together, and then these side plates are already on. There's two peg holes here, so yeah. So we have the butt armor here already on a hinge. Okay. So that's got to go in. Yeah, like that. It's plastic up here. I'm wondering if no, this is all plastic up here, but it's nicely painted. Okay. This thing, there's a hole in that. Does this come off? Yeah, so there must be an armor plate that goes up in here. Maybe it's on the sprue. I have to come back to that. Alright, so here's the lower front torso. So, you know what? I am going to have to get the other pieces because I want to see the pilot's legs through that thing. Alright, so let's get into this guy here. Maybe it'll say the date on it. Yeah, this has been opened for sure. But it looks like all the pieces are there because the person didn't even take the pilot off the molding tree. Okay, so what else do we have here? We have the stats card here, and it's all in Japanese, unfortunately. But some scenes here from whatever episode or episodes this thing was in, and some sort of bio. This is a name tag card you can fold into a triangle. There's a little fan club for Takara Tomy. The instructions up in the corner, it actually says 2007-11. So a little bit different from the box. And then, let's see. Yeah, this will tell you where all the pieces go. How to put the gun together, and how to move the guy downwards. Alright, so I'll keep that on the side. I'm going to definitely have to refer to it. And I'm going to have to clip all these pieces off. But before that, let's talk about the pilot, because that's awesome. Well, it would take me a long time to paint that. And I wouldn't be able to paint that so well like this. So I'm very happy that they went and did this. Yeah, very cool. And even the control mechanism here is painted like a blue and silver. So very neat. I'm going to be really careful trying to clip these guys off. So I'm going to clip off all these things. Oh, there's extra ones. So those side plates I put on the legs, here's a variation with just one vent instead of 3 like the others. And here's another torso piece. It looks identical though. So there's a lot of duplicate parts in case you lose something. That's nice. Yeah, like here's the front plates, a couple side plates, but I already has some over there loose. A few extra hands. The grab rail is molded in white. Yeah, and these are the gun parts. Alright, so might have to fast forward a little bit and see what we come up with. Okay, well, this thing's pretty awesome, although it's good because there's so many parts. So it turns out there actually was a backside to the instructions. So the side I showed earlier was the scope dog instructions, because there's a scope dog helmet. But the backside here shows you what the scope dog should have, the rounded shoulder plates. But this purple bear has two eyes, and then it has flat plates, and you can swap out almost everything. Even the arms are different. I mean, almost everything is different. So I have a hodgepodge mix of what's going on now. So I'll just talk about, what I did. Naturally, I put the 2-eye thing on there. I added a crazy glue, the controls in it. Kept on falling out, that control stick. So I crazy glued that in. Even though the scope dog front end has a lot more detail, I already have a few scope dogs, so I put in this plainer one, and it has a wider handlebar than this one. This is a scope dog arm, but this with one black rectangle here. This is the bear one, which has two. It's a different arm. This little elbow pad is now a new design, and it's actually trapped by this gray piece, so it won't fall off like the older models did. But these things, all these friction armor plates are annoying, because sometimes it's such a tight fit, you'll shear off the pin that goes into the recess. So on this arm, I crazy glued it in place because it wouldn't stay on anymore. And so this one, I'm using the left hand to hold this rifle thing. And I just have this ready to go if I want to swap that out. These side plates here, you can either put on a blank side plate, like this, or you can put this one on with the magazine, or you can swap out that magazine for this type of magazine that goes on the rifle. So I have that on this side of this side here. These little vent things here, they're just rectangles. I like the ones that came with. They're more like arrowheads, so I didn't bother changing those out. There were tiny little blue circles to cover up this, not blue, purple circles to plug in and cover up the screw there. I took the spikes off because I already have a bunch of scope dogs with the spikes on the feet, so these are just plain covers now. So that's what's going on there. Let's see. Oh, this is a scope dog knee. This is a purple bear one, and there is another one, but I kind of like the hose, so I haven't bothered to swap that out. Even these, you have a choice of a rectangular or a more rounded one. Yeah, the front also rectangular, a more rounded one, so I have a hodgepodge mix. I find that the rings on these shoulder things falls off so easily, and also the whole shoulder falls off easily, but I ended up putting this one on this side just to mix it up, so you have choices again. The only problem with this one is it doesn't cover up the hinge there, right? So it's not as protective, because this isn't really a war-fighting armored trooper. Nice that you have some open hand choices, and then the fists as well. There's open hands for both sides. You can also have the gun on either side, but most of my other robots have it on the right side, so I did left today. And then you could also just have the rifle without a hand if you just want to display it on its own. So yeah, it's cool. These are all the extra parts. So you can pretty much make 2 different robots, or in my case, a third, which is a mix, a hybrid. Okay, so let's get all this stuff out of the way here. Let's compare it to some other toys. The one complaint I have about this guy, actually I should finish off, is these feet, both of them fall off really easily. It's like this isn't a tight enough fit down here. Oh, and that just fell off. This alternate thing here, but I don't want to glue this because that one is way too loose. Never mind, I'm gonna have to put a different one on. Let's try this one back. No, where is it? There's one without a painting on it. Oh, that's much tighter, so I will keep that one on. Okay, so this is metal in here, this extension, and so those things pull down, and then see, that flap came off so easily because I probably sheared it trying to get on that thing, so it's too bad. All right, well, anyways, we're gonna bend this guy so it looks like it's crouching down and the pilot can get in and out of the thing. Yeah, so it'd be something like that, right? And then the pilot would be able to climb in and out of that thing. So that's easy enough. Yeah, I just wish I wish some of the parts were tighter because they do fall off very easily. Okay, so also unfortunately this armor piece. Oh, but now look at this. This thing is so loose. Gravity was allowing that to fall down. So might have to put some sticky tack in there if you want to keep it in one position. But see, these actually aren't sheared off, those pins, but the holes are going into it just too loose. Okay, well, try to get a decent pose. All right, now that we've seen that action, let's look at a couple other VOTOMs here in 1/48 scale. So some scope dogs here. So they have that narrower front end. This one's got wheels on the side. This is called a Marshy dog. This is called Brutish dog, and it's got a Gatling gun or something instead of a hand there. And it does have spikes. Yeah, all the other scope dog pieces seem to be there. This thing is a scope dog with a round mover, meaning this giant jetpack here. And so that's got spikes on it as well. And then the standard shoulder armor stuff. So that's why, like, this one has different shoulders and stuff like that. All these have the same similar, all the scope dogs have similar knee pads, so that's why this is a nice swap. Yeah, just different choices. Very cool. And then, yeah, I got my standing tortoise here. And then this kind of lame, this is the lamest of the bunch, I think. It's called Fatty. Those last two are much taller than scope dogs. But it seems like the most pieces, the most articulation is actually in the scope dogs. So, but for now, I would say yes, this is my favorite one because all the different choices you have to modify, you know, how you see fit. And it's so different from the other scope dogs, obviously, with the head, that it's definitely cool. All right, let me find a better pose, and we will spin this thing one last time. So there we have it. You know, I'm starting to think the reason why they added the metal feet is to weigh the guy down so you can get more crazy poses like this, right? If the thing was all plastic, it would be a lot harder to balance the guy. But with more weight in the low down, that's possibly the reason why they upgraded to the metal feet. I don't know. All right, well, again, this is my best VOTOMs yet. So very cool. Boy, I gotta look up and see what the other one of the next series was. Hopefully it's a different casting than what I already collect. Well, thank you for watching today, and I'll see you the next time I get one of these VOTOMs in.